Hello and welcome. This is the market wrap. Well, it's been a very tough day for those who are long in the market because not only did we see an extension of losses from what we saw last Friday after the presentation of the union budget, well, given the fact that there is a little bit more decline coming in, this time the selling has been a little more intense. There's some concerns coming through with the Nifty coming off by as much as 250 points today. Let's take a look at how the market spanned out, and we just have four gainers, except for perhaps something like a Yes Bank, which is probably about a short covering after a clarification coming in from the management on some rumors. We've actually seen severe weakness in fact counters such as Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv, which have actually led the declines here. ONGC, Oil and Gas, Indian Oil Corp, Indian Bonds, Housing Finance, all of them losing out quite substantially. Maruti Suzuki, for the first time since 2017, well, on an intraday basis, clocked a day, and moved down below the mark of 6,000 rupees per share. On the broader markets too, as you can see, a very, very poor advanced decline ratio. In fact, nearly somewhere around 1:6. Symphony and Dr. Lal Pathlabs along with Sheela Foam among a handful of counters which are advancing in trade. But if you leave that aside, a very sharp knock for Mindtree. Punjab National Bank is something that we will talk in just a bit. Bank of India, Jen Irrigation, CG Power. A lot of these stocks are losing well over 8.5 to anywhere between 13.5%. Of course, in the top 15 stocks, you can't see anyone losing less than 7%. Let me bring in our markets editor, Neeraj Shah, for his thoughts on the markets. What does this look like, Neeraj? Just an intense sell-off.
Well, a couple of factors. One, we should remember that Asia as a pack was down and out in this session today. So the globe was not looking a very happy place. I know a lot of conversation around how this is local and because of the budget, etc. Now, the budget did not presumably have too many negatives. It is not centered around the FPIs individually getting cornered, but that category at large. And therefore, the tax experts suggest this. Why should there be a specific rollback? But that notwithstanding, maybe the market was preempting too much from the budget, that there will be some positives that would come about, etc., etc., etc. And now that the event is out of the way, we are not a cheap market. We're correcting because the world is looking slightly wobbly. Morgan Stanley came out of the note and going underweight equities because they believe that the global growth numbers are just looking a bit wobbly. In light of that scenario, for a market which is trading at 18, 19 times, to have a day which is down about 2.5%, well, I don't think too much of brouhaha should be made out of this. Technical parlance, just one last word out here because almost everybody seemed to suggest that post the exit poll verdict coming out, the market had a gap up start. There was a gap that was evident, and technical parlance seemed to suggest that there's a bit of there should be a filling up of the gap before the rally resumes again. Let's wait and watch if indeed that happens tomorrow, and then we have a rally.
All right. Well, time will tell. All right. Thank you so much for that, Neeraj. So, as far as markets are concerned, but let's talk about a handful of stocks from the banking space. We have Shefali, who's joining us to give us an update on what's going on with PNB and Yes Bank. Shefali.
Well, two completely contrasting trades that happened today in these two banking counters, starting with the Punjab National Bank. So another fraud was reported. They reported it to the Reserve Bank of India that a fraud of about 3,800 crore rupees has been done by Bhushan Par, which is currently under NCLT proceedings and is classified as an NP in their books as well. So out of this 3,800 crore rupees, about 3,200 crore rupees is done in their domestic branches and about the rest in some of their overseas branches. And out of this 3,800 crores, they've done provisioning of just about 1,900 crores, so almost just half of it. So right now, like after the Nirav Modi scam, as it is a bank was emerging last 1 or 2 quarters, it managed to come back into the black, and with this another fraud coming in, so there are trust issues now with Punjab National Bank. So that is a major issue. And as far as Yes Bank is concerned, there it was a completely different story. Yes Bank, we've seen the stock come down by almost half over last couple of months, and now it's trading below 100. But today the management came out, they put out a note, and they even came out and clarified on a TV channel that there have been a lot of speculations in last couple of weeks about the stability of the management. In fact, ever since the new man has taken over, there have been various speculations even about his stay with the bank. But Mr. Gill today clarified that he's here to stay, and all these reports reports and speculations about the instability of the management at the top are totally unfounded for. And even in terms of the financials of the bank, he said that the liquidity position remains strong, and in fact they may surprise come the Q1 earnings. So we'll be closely watching out for that. So on the back of that, Street took it really well, even about the ADAG exposure, which is a big concern with them. He said that it's well collateralized. Right. So we look forward to the earnings when the bank reports them.
Sure, fair enough. Shefali, thank you so much for joining us and getting us those details. So there you have it. Yeah, Yes Bank possibly looking at about a short covering too. But on that note, let me get in Sharad for, well, two other stocks which are actually buzzing in trade today. Sharad, what makes your list?
Well, it was a gloomy day actually, and both of my stocks are actually on the negative side. The first one being Mindtree. The stock fell as much as almost 11%. Now, if you see what was the news regarding this, so basically the top brass, the CEO as well as executive chairman, all of them resigned from their posts. So basically the resignation was will be effective from this weekend itself, which we had seen, but they'll continue to stay as a board members till July 17 to make the transition process seem better. So now let me just get you in that the L&T has become the promoter of the company, having almost 60% stake, and these the management itself was opposing it. So that's what we can see is there was a sense of uncertainty in the markets today, and especially even the analysts, they spoke about the deals and the client relations which are in the building stages, and even there's kind of a revenue visibility becomes a bit of question going into FY20. The next stock is definitely Jindal Steel up. There was a mild increase, I would say, but the expectations on the Q1 update was pretty good. So the stock rose as high as almost 3% and ended the day at around 135.35, in which the company achieved a 17% growth in terms of production at 1.57 million tons versus 1.23 million tons, and the sales grew almost 17% at 1.5 million ton versus 1.18 million tons. So all in all, it was a sombre kind of a day, Agam, if you see in the mid-cap space.
Yeah, it certainly was, Sharad. Thank you for getting us these two other stocks which are also in focus. Of course, Mindtree is something that we need to watch out for as far as the current management and what their plans are. And by that I mean the new incoming management and who we will see as the new CEO of Mindtree, as well as who will take over as chairman. That's of course a wait and watch. And on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.